Okay, good day. So last week we have learned about how to strengthen the diverse society in Malaysia. So today we're gonna learn about how to strengthen the national unity of this diverse society in Malaysia. Okay. Um, so diversity is actually a quite challenging situation. Each community, for example, have a different ethical and civilizational roots. Okay, and um, this practices and thoughts is already embodied in their life. Okay, so the similarities we try to find similarities in this diverse society. So the society need to be willing to bargain and then negotiate and mediate meditate, sorry. So that it can bring peace, stability, and then since the time we got our independence or merdeka. Okay, this national unity has existed, supported, and must be continuously strengthened. Okay, it has existed and must be strengthened. So they have three motivation for this. First is desired unity, and then the unity achieved through the unity that been achieved, and then the unified effort. Okay, the act of building national unity is a serious effort. So government has this program called IPNAS to monitor and strengthen the unity. Okay, first we have consolidation, process of uniting, which is its continuous effort to resolve a society deficit. What is a society deficit? Social deficit. Social deficit is when uh, you don't appreciate unity and you don't appreciate other people's religion. Not to say for you to be uh, be be participating, but then you feel very angry towards other people. You don't appreciate the diverse situation. Okay, or you don't accept. Okay, so we need to integrate these people and based on bargaining, consultation, and mediation. Not meditation. I keep saying meditation. So integration becomes unity, where it's peaceful, it's stable, fosters condition. We still have some social deficit. We still have some racist people who are a bit, you know, just can't accept other people's diverse nature. So I think it's everywhere. It's the same. Unity is the end goal of this process. So we have consolidation, integration, and then unity. So the end process should be unity. So so from unity to integration, or from integration to unity, first is we're going to learn today is history. How do we find unity? And then process of building a continuous unity. And then we have this 13th May incident, 1969, which destroyed unity. And then we have integration. The term integration was introduced in Malaysia in 1971 after we had that problem of these racial riots. And then we have unity in diversity. This is Malaysia. So you are united. You see, we are like brothers and sisters. We fight. We do fight. But then you try saying something bad about Malaysia in the internet, and we will unite against you. And some of my Chinese friends would go to some extent to scold these people in Mandarin so that they would understand better. So happens, I think, during our movement control order, with some Taiwanese journalists said, we bury the dead on the street because of COVID. So everyone would go, and every Chinese person I know go and scolded these people in Mandarin. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. So we have the history of finding unity, the first part. So Malaysia, or Malaya, before we became Malaysia, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so we have different vassalage. Some of them are vassal of Thailand or Siam or Netherlands, and then Britain. Then British came and did some sort of they colonized us. So then we have union and federation, still very different ways of managing us. So we have the Strait Settlement, which is Malacca, Penang, and Singapore. And then we have federated Malay states and non-federated Malay states. Okay. So then it was World War II. The British left. Then when they come back under British military administration, they wanted to form Malayan Union. So Malayan Union is to unite, but was opposed and repelled by the Malays because everyone gets citizenship. So in Malaysia, it's very hard to get the citizenship because of the Malays. They started opposing the British. Before this, the British was never opposed by the Malay. Okay, not to say, I mean seriously at the national level. At the local level, there were a lot of opposition, but at national level and a big scale, this is the first time. Okay, so and then 1948, we got the Federation of Malaya, which granted the Malays as the indigenous people of the Malays are indigenous to this part of the world. So granted them special rights, and then granted the citizenship to the immigrants, so Chinese and Indians. And then we got our independence 1957, when all these multiple races, Malay, Chinese, Indians, parties, they joined together and then demanded to get independence from British. And British also had to give out independence because during that time they were bankrupt. Okay, and then 1963, we became Malaysia when Sabah and Sarawak joined the Federation. Okay, we are building continuous unity by creating an integration site, space, meeting points, where NGOs, think tanks, they can come and started to, like, even before independence, started to meet and discuss. We have community liaison committee, and then we have a coalition party. This is before. Then we have national song, our king. Our king is a symbol of unity. We have 9 kings that they take turns. We have 9 kings because 9 states, 9 different states. If you remember earlier, I told you that we have different vassalage. So we have different sultanate. We have 14 states, but not all states have sultan. So the state that have sultan, the sultan will take turn to be the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, or we call it the ultimate king, for 5 years. After 5 years, another king will take turn. So everyone get the same chance. It's almost similar to British system, but British doesn't have 9 kings. Okay, British only have 1 queen or 1 king. So the function of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is similar to the British queen. Okay, 1969 we have racial riots between the Chinese and the Malay. Mm, so there was it was quite bad in the history of Malaysia. It was quite bad because even if you go to Facebook, people fight. But Malaysia, they only fight on Facebook. They don't fight physically because in Malaysian culture, to fight in public is considered rude. Okay, so you don't fight. You don't see people fighting on the street. So this was a turning point. People fight on the streets, start killing each other. So it was stopped, and then the word unity was replaced by integration. So we go to the next. Okay. After 50 years, what is the situation? After the 50, it's 50 years of riot. The riot happened 50 years ago. So what is the situation? So the situation is we do have integration, but it's in diversity. We do not expect everyone to become Malay or westernized. Okay, we respect each other's culture. But then there is no serious measure by the government. Okay, and then well, you do have a lot of races. So the general assessment is stable but tense. Okay, and then 2018 they were trying to increase or level or measure the level of unity in Malaysia. So the desired goal is consolidation. So it's very difficult to measure actually, or it depends on the circumstances. Sometimes formally or informally, like my mother-in-law do have this Chinese neighbor or Indian neighbor that keeps sending her food. Okay, but maybe it doesn't happen as much as you wanted it in the city, because people in the city barely know each other, the neighbors. Okay, a moment of integration or moment of differences. Moment of unity and moment of differences are moments that can be seen happening in the daily life of society. Okay, among the atmosphere that is often seen show unity is the moment when mixing in the market, holding weddings, okay, places to eat, sports, okay, all this you can see. So the challenges, so in Malaysia we live in between 137 living languages. So the average Malaysian are bilingual. You know, they might not be so good in English, but they do understand English. There are people who are trilingual. They can speak Malay, English, and another language, like their own language, like Tamil or Mandarin. And you do not necessarily need to be Chinese to know how to speak Mandarin, because we have Chinese school and we do have people from other ethnicity that is going to Chinese school. So unity is always a work in progress. The current trend, the challenges, citizenship, national language, religion, everything plays a role. So we try to use our language, which is Bahasa Melayu, to become a lingua franca or linked languages throughout human history, either for commercial reasons, cultural, religious, diplomatic, administrative. So Remember that day, I think before class started, I sent a message scolding people in Malay. You're not supposed to be in this class. Because it sounds better when I scold people in Malay. Okay, we have a constitutional monarchy. And democracy, we do have the parliament. So we do, study shows that people who have monarchy are happier and more stable. So I explained to you the paramount leader. It's the 9 kings that take turns. Each state have their own parliament, which there are matters that can be decided by state, and there are matters that can be decided by the government. For example, health is a government issue. Land is a state issue. Water is state issue. Okay, so if you're living on campus and there is no water, you have to blame the state, not the government. Okay, a constitutional monarch. This is our tool of integrity. Tool of integrity, because they check and balance each other. Okay. So then citizenship. So in Malaysia, if you're a Malaysian citizen, you cannot have dual citizenship. If they do, you be stripped out of your first citizenship, meaning you will no longer become Malaysian. So Malaysia is the most plural country in Southeast Asia. Okay, certain places like Thailand or Indonesia, the people are not allowed to practice their other languages. Okay. So unity and integration. How do we integrate this such diverse society? So Malaysia the government and the citizen has to work together to decide how to do this. So as an example of consolidation is Baba Nyonya. You have the pictures in your slide. Which is they're Chinese. They came. They're still Chinese. They still practice Chinese religion, but then they mix. They speak Malay. They dress like Malay. The food is like Malay. So we also have Jari Peranakan, which is like me, which is a mix of Arab, Indian, Malay, and we also are the same as the Peranakan. Okay, so that's all for today. So we still do have social deficit, where we still do have racist people, but we are trying our best to integrate people, and you should understand this and not make remarks when you're actually allowed to come back. So please drop comment on stuff like, why do you allow such big statue of certain gods? Because I have students asking me this. Being a Muslim country, yes, we allow everything because it's their right. Okay, it might be different, but it's their right. Okay, so that's all for today. So you have to discuss this. What is the difference between your culture and Malaysian culture? And does this make your life difficult when you live in Malaysia? Because I assume you were coming, so that was the question. So maybe you can think about it, then write a short essay, 500 words, and submit in Google Classroom. Okay, see you next week. Bye bye.